Welcome back. This is part 1, video 3 of my Starlight guide. In this video, we're going to be talking about openings. In particular, my favorite opening, and that's the opening I call Good Card Starlight. It is a minor build that's going to focus on this reclaim, or not reclaim, this power card gain, then to 3 plays, and then I like focusing on the reclaim or the extra card. And that's the build I'm going to present here. There's some other builds. I find pretty much every other build besides this has some inconsistencies. Looking at the major build, I find a lot of people they like grabbing this power card, grabbing a major first. I find that to be very inconsistent, especially because it forces you to forget some of your good cards, and that can kind of mess things up. And then if you miss on that major, you fall very far behind. If I plan on getting a major, I like doing that more around turn 2 or turn 3. There's another build that people like doing. It's this minus card gain, but you get a little bit of tempo, and that's they like doing the 3 cards turn 1, and they'll play these 2 Boon of Reimagining Shape, and then they like playing Gather as well to get that 3 Moon innate. I don't like this either. One, you see less cards because you don't get to get this card gain turn 1, and 2, I just don't think it's very good because like you're playing this gather card here to reclaim these cards, and you never want to reclaim these cards. So I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It also forces you to commit to this growth option, which means every turn you're not taking the +1 play, you're essentially losing that growth, like you've wasted it. So I I never really take that this option very early on. I like teching towards this later in the game. And once again, I'm referring to uncovering this turn 1 and then playing 3 cards on turn 1 rather than the opening I'm about to show you. There's one more opening that I'm going to briefly mention, and this is the opening that Sarusta plays, and I think this is probably the one opening that may be better than the opening I'm going to show you. I'm not sure because it's something that I haven't really played with much because the opening I play is very, very consistent, and that's the idea that you're going to rush the card gain energy, and then after you get that, you can either rush towards the reclaim half, the extra play, or the permanent extra play. And basically, this extra energy here is going to buffer your tracks quite, or buffer your energy income quite a lot, such that you can gain majors. The big negative is you can't move presence around like you can in my build, but that extra energy definitely comes in handy. So, with that being said, let's talk about good card Starlight. So, what I like doing is I first uncover this first option here, and that's the power card gain. I deleted my 3. There we go. So Starlight is going to get 3 different growths. I'm first going to grow, placing a presence. I'm going to uncover the top track. I'm then going to gain a power card, moving a presence, and then finally I'm going to gain an energy. So I'm going to be at 2 energy at the end of this turn. I'm going to play Boon of Reimagining and Shape. That puts me at 1 energy. And then I'm going to have both Gather and Peace in my hand. What this opening is going to do for me is a few things. First, I'm going to get my Moon innate. This is going to allow me to gather and explore, which is going to stop a future build, or it's going to let me set up to Han such that I can counterattack or prevent Sweden escalation, specifically against Sweden. The next thing is I'm gaining a power card, so that gives me 4 looks at 1 power card. I then get to play Shape. That gives me 4 more looks, 1 card. And then I'm going to forget Shape, like I mentioned in my card gain video. I'm forgetting Shape such that I can gain that 3 energy. That will put me at 4 energy total. Then I'm going to play Boon of Reimagining, and I have to forget a card. At this point in the game, my hand looks like this because I gained a power card turn 1. So I can choose to forget Gather, Peace, or the Minor. Most of the time I forget Gather. I've talked about that in the card video. You're going to see this in my playthrough videos. I pretty much always forget this card. Unless my Minor is utter garbage. But almost always this card is forgotten. Actually, at this point I'll have 2 cards. 1 card from my growth and then 1 card from Shape. So I'm going to forget Gather. And then I'm going to get 2 more cards. And that's going to put me at 4 cards in hand and Peace. And then I can build my next turn off these 4 minors here. Okay, let's reset that. And just to show you how many cards we've looked at 14 cards. So that's 14% of that minor deck, which is pretty absurd that a spirit can look at that many cards and can fish for those best cards in the deck. And just a reminder, the cards we're looking for are primarily Earth, Plant, and Water. So these are our primary cards, in addition to those very overpowered cards that I mentioned in the card gain video. So looking over here at our turn 2, you're going to notice we have those 4 cards, and then we get to gain another card from this growth option, giving us a total of 5 cards. That means we've seen 18% of that minor deck. We're going to do the same choice of growth options as before: place a presence, gain an energy, and gain a card, move a presence. And that's going to uncover our element down here. So you may be able to delay this. I really like grabbing that element. I've seen some players immediately grab the extra card play. Once again, I find grabbing it early on locks you into that growth option, and I'd rather have the flexibility later in the game than getting an immediate 3 card plays. Another problem is whenever you take this growth option, you can't choose your reclaim 1, which is something that I like using a lot on the spirit. Because think about it. You're placing a presence as your first, card gain is number 2, and then the extra card play would be 3. So you can never have room to take that reclaim 1. The last thing is when you get this +1 card play a turn it chews through your hand so fast that you end up having to grab the reclaim early on rather than pursuing a permanent 3 plays. So I do that. Presence placement, gain a card, gain an energy. I then uncover this presence down here, or this the star thing down here, so I can gain a permanent element. Once again, I'm looking for plants, earths, water. Usually it's an earth, and then I'll play 2 earth cards here, such that I get that defend 5, so I can stop one of the blights, and then I just let the other blight through. If I get really lucky, like if I get 2 earth plant cards, and then one of those cards is a defend, I might use the card to defend 1 land, and then I'll grab a plant down here to get another minor, such that I see 22 cards in the or 22 cards total, but an extra card in the slow. But regardless, I'm playing 2 minors, and then most of the time it's earth, plant, or water in this spot here. My next turn, this is where things kind of break up a little bit, and once again, we're still placing presence, and a lot of times I'm still going to grab that power card gain, and then we'll end up using a reclaim 1. And that just depends on how good the cards were on the previous turn. So if I played, for instance, like Carapace Land or Gift of Power, I may just want to reclaim that very powerful minor rather than playing one of these other minors in my hand. And I'm uncovering another spot on my bottom track, which means I'll have 2 elements. I usually, like I said, one's earth, one's plant, and then I play like 2 earth plant cards so that I can get my double innates. Also, you can squeeze in water there too. And on turn 3, we've seen a total of 22 cards, so that's almost a fourth of the minor deck. On turn 4, same thing as turn 3. We're placing a presence, extra card, a reclaim, and then now we've uncovered our solid 3 plays, and we'll be able to play 3 cards here. And we've seen a fourth for certain now, 26% of that minor deck. And then finally on turn 5, and this is where things kind of break up. It just depends on what exactly do you plan on doing. You're going to place presence, but the track that you uncover is it's going to be it's going to be variable. I mean, are you going to get the extra play here? Are you going to go for that reclaim? Are you going to go for the reclaim 1? As in using that growth option? Are you going to go for some extra energy buffer? The extra card play down here with the slow to fast. There's just tons of options that you can go for on turn 5, and a lot of the times it's just, what are the cards in my hand? What do I need? Usually I have a major on this turn, or I'm getting a major next turn, so it's planning around that as well. It's a safe bet that you're going to go for the extra card play or the reclaim though. Like 99% of the time will be one of these 2 options. Very rarely do I try to go for this or these cards down here. Let's see if there's anything else I need to talk about in this video. I think we've covered everything. Um, I'll post the opening in the comments discussion. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. If this video helped you, like, subscribe, and the next video we'll be talking about board selection. See you then.